Are you a first-time buyer? The Hopper One by Modern Buggy may be the trailer for you. It's lightweight, it's compact, and sleeps 4. Amazingly, it feels so open on the inside. Come to think of it, this might be a great trailer for just about anybody. Stick with me, I'm going to show you the details. Hello everyone, I'm PJ from Princess Craft RV, and at first glance, the Hopper One may not look like anything special, but I am so impressed with this trailer. It's only 2,600 pounds, it's a little over 16 feet long, so you would expect that to be a very compact trailer, but there is so much space in this, it's hard to believe it sleeps 4. There is a bunk that folds up, gets out of your way, a comfy sofa. I don't know, let's quit talking and go in and take a look. One of the things about a rear entry trailer is that usually it's a hallway and they have things on both sides, and this is very different. Very surprising how open it feels. Now the reason I think it feels so open is you have a window over here on the left, but these big panoramic windows over here, it just really opens it up. Now I'm walking between the queen size bed and the sofa. Let's start right over here. First of all, I mean, this would be my hangout place, even when I'm not sleeping. This bed is a 6-inch foam mattress, really comfortable. It is covered in a nice furry fabric. I know there's a word for this, kind of a velour feel. Very easy to clean, but really comfortable. Now the big windows just make it so special. When you're camping, you want to be able to see outside, and you don't want the small space to feel, well, even smaller. This bed is 48 by 74, so if you're looking for a king-size bed, this isn't your trailer. But the 48 by 74 is going to give you reasonable sleeping space for 2 people. And, you know, as long as it's comfortable, I'm good with that. Right across is the sofa. Impressive that something with this price point, because this really is an entry-level price point, has such a nice sofa. It's really comfortable. The material is soft. It's not crunchy. I don't know. This is impressive. And even if you're taller than me, a larger person than I am, you're going to feel just fine sitting here. In fact, with my legs crossed, my feet aren't even touching the floor. So a little larger person, they're going to be fine. Now the height in here is about 6'6", maybe 6'7". That's probably not as tall as some trailers, but very impressive that it doesn't feel closed in. A lot of times it's the height in a trailer that makes it more comfortable. But this, man, it's the layout and it's the windows. So sitting on the sofa, viewing the beautiful outdoors, that's lovely. This also turns into a sleeping area, of course, a jackknife sofa, and this sofa is going to be 68 inches long and about 40 inches wide. So great for one person, and then you drop down this bunk and you get another sleeping area. Now it's going to be the same 68 inches long, but only about 32 inches wide, but a nice comfy foam mattress up there. So very easy to do, and you hardly know there's a bunk up there. Now the window right here doesn't have the same roll down shade that the other windows do, of course, because this bunk has to come down and it really stops the shade from operating. So what this has, I'll show you, inside this cabinet, there is a snap-in panel that matches the roller shades that you simply snap over the cover if you want to cover that window. So it's very easy to do. Just snap 4 corners on there. And I took it off because I wanted you to be able to feel as much as possible on camera what it's like to have these big windows. It is really the best part of this trailer. So let's move right back here. On the left, coming inside, you've got a hanging bar at the top, but it is only about, I don't know, 20 inches before you hit the shelf. So you could hang things there, but you're probably going to have to fold the bottom half of it. Up above that, you've got the lighting up here with the bed light. So that is going to be not necessarily the bed light. The light's right above the entryway here. Then you've got some lights in the kitchen, the porch light outside, the bath light, and the water pump. You can also see your tank sizes up here and the awning control. And there's 2 of them. Guys, on an entry-level trailer, this has a power awning on the back and a power awning on the side. Now, I want to pull this down and show you some of the plugs, because that's always a question that we get. You've got a 110 plug right over here on the right-hand side of this window, just above the sofa seating. And then, let's unclip this, drop it down. You can see not only this nice cushion up here, the same fabric that you have here on the bed, didn't skip on the bunk cushion, which is really nice. Over here, you've got another cubby. It is the top of this closet, but it's kind of its own special space. You've also got a 110 plug in that cubby, and you've got a USB and a USB-C. So for those people who like to stay up late, maybe plug in that game up there, you're set. There is some more storage underneath this sofa. Right down here, you've got a drop-down cabinet door. It goes down flat, which is really the easiest. If you had something that went sideways, it would always be in the way. So this is perfect. And you've got a wheel well right behind here, so it isn't the full space, but it goes down to that second one. Fair amount of space in these 2 cubbies. I mean, maybe it's not the easiest access, so it isn't where you put the things that you use every day. That's what this really big closet is for. Now on the end, you're going to see there's the converter, and it also has the breakers and the fuses. There's more storage under this bed, but instead of lifting this up to get to it, you just access it right here on the end. And it's a really large space underneath this bed. And that could be used with trays, or you may have some big gear that you just want to save under there, like, you know, a big backpack that you go hiking with, your extra boots, whatever you need under there. Because above the bed, you've got space for all the clothing items. You open these cabinet doors, and you've got 18 inches at least in here all the way back. And you've got the full height. There are no radiuses on the roof, so you've got a large cabinet going all the way across. That's a lot of storage up there, guys. And I love that these white cabinets just open the space up. They don't make it feel a little closed in. So you've got lights underneath, and right up here you've got the cable and plug-ins and a 110 for a television. The backer is right up here. It's marked for you because if a TV is important to you, super easy to add. And if you haven't looked at how inexpensive TVs are these days, then you know a quick Google is going to open your eyes to that. You can get a nice TV in here for under $100. Wow. Now, right over here at the foot of the bed, you've got another USB and USB-C plug, as well as the 110. Nice little net pocket right there. I love those. I always have a few things that I want to have really handy, and I can just drop them right in there. Now, right behind me is going to be this bar table. And this bar table is metal. It's a coated, but it's great if you want to sit here and eat. You've got a beautiful window. These stools, they fold up flat, and they have a little bit of a lean to them. So they're actually padded and very comfortable. I was really impressed. And yes, they have a 250-pound weight rating. So this is, instead of a dinette, you have a bar. And if it isn't something you'll use or you don't need it for extra prep, you just lift it off and you can put it away. Not something you need to have if you don't need it. These fold up, leave them at home if you don't need them, or just put them outside. That works too. The layout in here, as I've mentioned, is partly why this really works. It's very unusual to put the bed and the sofa at the entrance. Usually that's in the back. And by putting this in the, what is technically the front of the trailer, but in the back as you walk in the entrance, it feels so much more open when you're back here because of these windows, the white, and this open layout. Right behind me here, you've got 2-burner stove with the nice flip up glass tops. So when you're not using it, it's countertop. And flip that up, you've got a nice 2 burners here. I do tend to lean up against these, so I always caution people. It is a spark ignition here to light the burner. And so if you just happen to lean on it, you're gonna be sparking it. That's why that noise is really handy. Don't play your music too loud, and now you'll know that's what happens. Underneath here is the microwave. You know, we talk about microwaves, they're never in the most convenient position, but because microwaves need a fair amount of depth, it's really difficult sometimes to put them in the overhead section. So you do have a nice microwave down here, and below that, of course, your LP carbon monoxide detector. I'm impressed with how much countertop is up here because, again, in a trailer this size, that's one of the things you give up. You do have a radius front on this, so it's going to be very aerodynamic. It does cut in a little bit of the overhead, but when the kitchen is here, you don't notice it at all. And all of this counter space is available to you. So that feels really good in a 16-foot trailer. The sink right here has a nice high faucet. Black hardware gives it a little bit of styling, kind of matches the rest of the trailer. And you're right, it is not a massive farmhouse sink, but it certainly will do the job, and I think it's a nice trade-off for the counter space. Down below, you've got your furnace. Now that is a Dometic furnace. And it is controlled right here on the left. Just set the temperature and it's going to come on whenever it's needed. Really easy to operate. You know, that's another reason this is a great first trailer for people because it is simple to operate these. Right next to that, there is the Fugatti controls, which is your on-demand hot water. Yeah, they really didn't skimp on this. At this price, quite amazing. I know the comments are going to say, what price? Well, the price is going to change with every dealership. So give us a call if you'd like to know our retail price or just shop online. You'll get the idea. But very easy to get into a trailer like this. Now to the right of that, you've got a 110 plug because you may have some appliances, coffee pot, whatever, sitting back here on this nice open space and you can plug it in. But if you've got some other things that you'd like to include and plug in as well, they added another plug right up here. Now you don't get the full height, but I do believe you could fit some appliances, maybe some charging things up there, just whatever you need. Very nice to have an extra plug up there. Very often in trailers like this, you don't have enough plugs, and they have sometimes 2 on each wall. That's great. 4.5 cubic foot refrigerator, and it's got a freezer in it, and pretty nice space in here. Again, it isn't a 10 cubic foot refrigerator. Guys, this is a 16-foot trailer. Many trailers like this have a very small 2 to 3 cubic foot refrigerator. And to have 2 doors in this size, I love the layout of this kitchen. I think it doesn't get any better in a trailer that is, again, 16 foot. It is a wet bath in the corner, which is what you would expect, and it's not huge. Now, when I step inside, I'm going to have about an extra 6 inches. So it's probably only about 5.5 feet tall, maybe 5'7". But you can always sit down, right, if you need to shower. And for many of us, the wet bath is really for emergencies or for when we don't need to walk to the bathhouse. You can take a shower other places, and this is your emergencies, which, yeah, I mean, we all feel better knowing that it's right here, particularly in the middle of the night. Then, right next to this, you're going to have more storage, what most of us would call a pantry, and then up above, the solar charge controller. So let's start at the top. The charge controller is going to tell you how charged your batteries are. It's also going to tell you what the solar panels on the roof are doing. So, that's right. You've got 200 watts of solar on the roof. Wow. And that is going to keep this 12-volt refrigerator humming, even if you're not plugged in. Now coming down, the pantry style has the netting on the front, and it's over 2 feet deep. So you've got a lot of space in all 3 of these cubbies. A little more storage in the kitchen. I don't think I pointed out all of it. So let's back up a little. Right here, it's about 2 feet deep, but it's narrow, it's very tall. So you're going to have to think about what the easiest things are to store in here. Kind of an odd size cabinet. And down below, here, it's going to be about 1 foot deep, and you've got a nice open space down at the bottom. So you've got a fair amount of storage. It's broken up all over the camper, which allows you to kind of use the storage for different things. You may need more clothing storage and less pantry storage. Who knows? Maybe the other way around. So you can make this space work for whatever you would like. Now, once you open all these windows, because it's a beautiful day outside, you may want to turn on your high-powered fan up here. Now, it's going to have different speeds on it. You're going to be able to show whether it pulls air out or in. Very simple to use, no complicated remote to learn, and yeah. Maybe you decide you need the AC. Well, you've got a 13.5 BTU air conditioner on the roof right here. Wow. So in a space like this, that's going to make it a really nice, cool space. All right. I love hanging out in here, and that's unusual to say in a 16-foot trailer. Let's head outside because there's so much more to talk about. The steps and the swing out handle on this are really nice. You know, that's one of the things that makes going in and out so much easier. So a nice fold out handle here. And you notice that electric awning that we talked about. So all of this outside will be covered. It's going to come out 6 to 7 feet. It's going to give you a nice shade on the back. Sit on the steps, take your shoes off if they get muddy and it's raining outside. Lots of choices there. All right, heading around to this side. Another nice awning here to create a great outdoor space and a little more storage right here. Let's take a peek. Magnetic catch to hold that open. And that goes across the back half of the bed. So it's a great use of space, the way they gave you entrance to the front half of the bed inside and the back half on the outside. Drops right back down. Now, have you noticed the clearance on this trailer? It's really quite extraordinary. They've given you a lot of height, so if you want to go on those trails or those maybe bumpy roads, you're not going to have any clearance problem here. You do have the off-road tires with tons of clearance. You do have the spare, matching spare underneath Right here, electrical ports and cable TV hookup. So if you're at a park that has cable or you want to set up a portable satellite, easy hookup right there. And your Fugatti outlet is right here on the front, along with another vent up here for the furnace. Now, coming around the front, you have the hard cover for the 5-gallon propane tank. Of course, a manual jack, but this is so easy to crank up and down. You can also switch to an electric jack at the dealership. Very simple to do if that's important to you. And batteries will go right behind here. On the far side, just on the inside of the frame, is the battery disconnect switch. So everything right up front, including the caster wheel. So if you need to adjust just a little bit at the campground, remember this only weighs 2,600 pounds. So you'll be able to give it a little nudge if you need to. Nice rock guard on the front for the bottom half. And on this side, you will start with the sewer dumps near the front. You do have the single hookup here with the gray tank on one side, the black on the other. Very simple to use. Now just in front of that, we have our power box plugged in, which of course doesn't come with the trailer. It's how we use to power it up out here. But it does come with that cord you saw inside. Behind the wheel well, you have your outside shower. Now this comes with a sprayer that you can do hot and cold with. That's not always the case. So many times on an entry-level styled camper, you're gonna get just cold water. So I love that they included the hot in here, so you can take a shower, wash the dogs, wash the dishes, whatever you need to do. City water connection and the tank fill right here. You do have fresh water drain right underneath with a nice valve on it. No plastic caps to undo after you crawl halfway underneath. So that is a nice feature. Of course, you're going to have stabilizing jacks on all 4 corners, and right here another cable connection. So if you are hooked up on the utilities right here at your campsite and you want to hook up the cable TV, right there. So now we've made it back around to the entry of this. So this is going to be a real solid camper for years to come. So check out the modern buggy, Hopper 1. What a great layout, what a great trailer. If you have questions, give us a call here at Princess Craft. I'm PJ, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.